Outback Steakhouse is one of the most popular chain restaurants in the world and certainly has to be in the top 5 at minimum, I would have to say, for chain steakhouses specifically. However, I had never been, so I decided to try it for the first time, and I thought I would review one of their steaks and the overall service and environment of the restaurant. We know that oftentimes chains have more mass-produced food, and because of that it can be a little bit more inexpensive than a top-tier steakhouse. So I'm here to investigate the value of the food as well. Is it overpriced? Is it a really good deal? Is the quality significantly higher than I would expect for its price? With that said, let's get to trying some of this food and showing you what I ended up deciding with on my first visit. What I ultimately decided on from the menu was one of the special items, which was the bone-in ribeye with bourbon onion. It is an 18-ounce bone-in ribeye that comes with a caramelized Jim Beam bourbon onion. It also comes with a big dollop of garlic and bacon butter, and you get your choice of a couple sides. I went with a baked potato and a soup. The presentation in the advertisement photo is kind of what sold me. It looked very appetizing, but we know these advertisement photos can often be misleading, so we're going to see how true to the advertisement the actual presentation of the meal I get ends up being. Oh, one thing I should mention, this comes out to $38 pre-tax, so it is not a cheap meal by any means. Not very far off from what a lot of non-chain, higher-end steakhouses might charge, so I was pretty shocked when I saw the prices. I didn't expect the food to be dirt cheap because really nothing is today, but let's just say at that price point I was hoping for really high quality. But enough talking about it, it's time for the big reveal. How did this really pricey meal end up looking? So here's the presentation on it. I think the potato looks really good. It's doctored up nicely. It's aesthetically pleasing. Big pieces of salt on the exterior of the skin as well. The steak itself looks pretty good. I like the presentation of the big dollop of butter inside of the onion. The onion looks a little undercooked to me compared to how it looked in the photo. And the steak doesn't actually have the grill bar marks like you see in the photo as well. But upon trying the food, I can say that I thought the baked potato was actually really solid. That was a very good side. I would get that again for sure if I were to go to Outback. The way it was doctored up and the ratio of ingredients from bacon bits to cheese to sour cream internally, and the salt on the exterior, it was really pleasant. It was a good baked potato. Moving on to the steak. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't amazing to be honest. The texture of the steak itself was a little too chewy for my preferences. It was cooked medium rare like I ordered it. And it being a ribeye, I did know there would be a high amount of fat content, but even for a ribeye, I think there was too much unchewable fatty content of the steak. It was hard to take consecutive bites of tender meat without having a lot of chewy, undesired cartilage material. As far as the seasoning of the steak, it was definitely not unseasoned, but it felt like salt and pepper, simply put, were really driving the bus in terms of the flavor. It wasn't anything super special to me. As far as the toppings on the steak, I do really like the concept of the onion on the steak. However, in this case, it was a little undercooked for my preferences. I would have preferred and sought after a more melt-in-your-mouth kind of consistency. I wish a little bit more caramelization had been brought out in the flavor in this particular batch. The butter itself was really enjoyable, and I definitely did utilize it. It added some flavor to the steak as well. This was already a pretty juicy steak. It was not dry, and it was cooked to order, like I asked. But again, the fatty content was a little bit more than I really wanted to deal with, even knowing that I was going to be dealing with a good amount of that, with it being a ribeye. So the overall verdict in this is going to be a 5.5 out of 10. Was it inedible? No. Was it something I would pay $38 for again? Absolutely not. As much as I did enjoy the baked potato, I found the steak to be pretty subpar overall. Again, it wasn't inedible, it wasn't disgusting, but I found the texture to be a little off-putting, and the seasoning to be a little uninspiring. That is going to take us to the conclusion of this review. I hope it painted a good picture of my experience at Outback Steakhouse. Did I miss anything on the menu that I should go back and try? Are there any better deals? I know this wasn't the cheapest thing on the menu by any means, but I was hoping to get an example of some pretty good quality from them to see if it was possible. Based on this first experience, it doesn't seem like it, but I'm sure I'm missing something. So what should I get if I do return to Outback Steakhouse? I always value your guys' input. I look forward to chatting in the comments as always. Stay tuned for a lot more food reviews, and be sure to let me know in the comments where I should go for my next food review video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the very next video. Peace.